on my way now. I'm on my way now. I'm on my way now.
Every year, after months and months of traveling around the globe, we make it a point to come back to our home city here in Halifax. And every time we come back, we notice that things have changed around here. But I know one thing that hasn't changed. You can't beat Halifax in the summer, but we're going to be talking about a lot more in today's video.
One of the brand new things since last year, when we were last here, is this. I don't even know what to call this. We're down at the Queen's Mark, which is a pretty much new area here in downtown Halifax on the waterfront. But they were completing this last year, so I don't know what we call this. Kind of a giant staircase that goes up.
Yeah, there's another area that was completed with the stairs into the water.
Yeah, I'll
but
show you
this
that soon.
this is new, and there's also a big kind of like art sculpture, well, right behind you now.
Yeah, I guess it's just sort of like a hangout space. You can come up, you can see the sculpture. I think you can look off the sides and get nice views on either side.
First, we thought we'd give you guys a little background about who we are. My name is Trevor, and this is Anna. Delightful Travelers. Hit subscribe, you know the drill. We've been to over 50 countries, and we just finished going completely around the world. We were gone for like 10 months. We left from here, and now we're back.
Yeah, we're back for a little while, and this is technically our home. We've lived in the city for like over 20 years, but we do have a condo here. We rent it out, so we kind of feel like tourists when we come back.
We do.
So throughout the video, we're going to go through some of the things that we've noticed in terms of how the city has changed since the last time we were here. Some things will be good, some things not so good. Let's start off with one that we've noticed is happening everywhere in the world. It affects literally every place, but we definitely noticed it here more than anywhere, and that is the prices of literally everything. We've had so much sticker shock that since we arrived back a few weeks ago, basically, we arrived back in Nova Scotia, and everything has gone up in price so much.
We were saying it's like, what, 30% higher since we left a year ago?
Probably, like just going out to eat is so much more expensive. Groceries are so much more expensive. Obviously, if you're paying rent, you probably know that's way more expensive. Our mortgage, thankfully, hasn't gone up yet, but I'm sure it will when with this mortgage rates are going up. Like literally everything.
The thing is, this is happening everywhere in the world. It's not just here in Canada, certainly not just here in Halifax. When we're traveling, we ask the locals, and a lot of them are getting forced out of their cities. It's just too expensive to live in a lot of places, so it's not just here. But Canada is very expensive at the same time. It's more expensive than a lot of the countries we travel to, and we often say to you guys, we save money when we're on the road, and that is true, because when we get back here, we notice right away that we have to up our budget. Canada is expensive, just in case you didn't know.
All right, good or bad, what do you guys think? I think it's relatively obvious, but definitely not a good thing that everything is going up in price, and it makes everything so much less affordable and hard to live.
All right, we're off to a bad start. We gotta find some of the good
let's
things.
find some good things, because there are lots of good things.
Well, I have to say, it's really nice to see all these people out, huh?
Yeah, we got home, as I said, a few weeks ago. It was in June. Now it's July, and it's nice to see a lot of people around, because honestly, in June it was pretty quiet. We were a little concerned about how the tourism season was going to be. And we were around and there weren't many people, and we were thinking maybe it was because of the wildfires, because there were major fires here, but thankfully they're pretty much gone now. And you know, maybe people, because of inflation, aren't traveling as much, but being out today, seeing all these people, it definitely feels good. So one thing we notice year after year that always changes no matter what when we return is that infrastructure and new buildings are always going up. This one right here has changed drastically year after year. I think they started it a couple of years ago. We actually live in this area. This is sort of our neighborhood. So we've kind of seen it go up, and like the siding's going on. It's changed a lot in the last few years. It's gonna be one of the bigger buildings here on the waterfront. I think the biggest one. A lot of, again, debate over that.
There's a lot of debate.
Yeah, a lot of people don't like these changes. In general though, this is a growing city, and people have to go somewhere, so they've got to start building upwards.
So for us, we find this really exciting. We're finally getting to see our city grow up. We've been waiting for that to happen. Now, the thing is, there's a lot of people that were born and raised in Halifax, and they don't want to see this change. But that's fine. Everyone has their opinions, that's for sure. But if you are moving here, or maybe if you moved here recently, you might have known that there's always that debate. Some people just don't like change here, but it is slowly happening. We absolutely love this city. I think you guys can tell by all the videos we made on Halifax. There's a reason we live here and we come back here every year, and it's because of this place.
All right, so good or bad, I know everyone's gonna have their own opinion on this, but we think in general good. Obviously the city needs to do some stuff about affordable housing, because prices, like we already talked about, are going up and up and up, so that's definitely a major concern. But in general, the city growing is a good thing. Whew, one thing that is definitely not changed in the city, it's not going to change, is the hills. It's a very uphill downhill city, but whew, every single time I almost forget just how hilly it is, but it wins me.
One thing that has not changed since we have left is the transit. The public transit in this city is not very good. I think we can all agree on that. They're doing what they can, but honestly, I don't know how we get around without these buses. For one, we need a better way to pay to get on the transit around here. We need like a tap card or something like that. Surely we can pull that off. The other thing is, there have been rumors and rumblings about like a rail line system of some sort. There's already tracks at one part in Halifax here that goes out to like Bedford. So if that could ever happen, it would be great. But until it does, we can't do much about it. So that's one thing to know. It's not very good. The transit system is kind of a thumbs down.
There are actually ferries that go over to Dartmouth, and that is definitely the best part of the transit system here in Halifax. It's actually fun to do, just because you almost get like a cheap harbor cruise out of it. But in general, we give a thumbs down to the transit. We are now back at our hotel, the Prince George, one of our favorite places in downtown Halifax. I think we already mentioned that our own condo is currently rented out, and these guys invited us to come stay and check out the hotel. So nice of them, so happy to be staying here. We do love it here. We've got a gorgeous room, so we thought we'd give you a little room tour.
So here we have a chaise, and I'm going to tell you guys right now, Anna doesn't want me to tell you this, but she's been spending a lot of time right there. You can see a queen-size bed just behind me. It's so ridiculously comfortable. They even came by and asked if we wanted different size pillows, like thick or thin. Yeah, that's the kind of service you get here. So right here we have a chair that you can sit down in as well. You have a TV. There's a few different drawers there for your clothing. Have a desk. You guys know we travel and work, so we need a desk. It's a really nice, comfy leather chair as well. You also have a place for your suitcase, and back this way there's of course there's a little tiny fridge for your drinks, and there's coffee as well. I'll take you guys into the bathroom. You have a really nice vanity with solid tops, I guess. Of course you have a toilet, and then right behind the door here you have a really nice walk-in shower.
The highlight though is honestly this view. We have amazing harbor city view. We can see all sorts of buildings around Halifax. It's really, really an amazing view. We are in a crown service room, so that means you're on the very top floor, which again means you have this awesome view.
The other thing you get with Crown Service is you get access to a lounge that has a business center, and you get free snacks all day long. There's also a pool. There is a fitness center, and we had included breakfast, which had Eggs Benedict for breakfast. We had it every day.
Here is a pro Halifax tip for you. This is for anybody that's either staying at the hotel or staying somewhere else in the city, or if you just happen to live here, it's kind of a hidden gem. But here at the Prince George, they have a seasonal bar called Level Bar. They have probably one of the best patios in the whole city, and I really don't think that many people actually know about it. They have happy hour every day. I'm pretty sure it's every day from 4:30 to 6:30. One of the best happy hours in the city, but I do love their patio. It's got great views of the city, tons of seating. It's one of the best spots. They actually invited us to a little bit of a get-together last night. We got to meet lots of people, enjoy the great weather, and have some great drinks and food.
One more thing to bring up before we get back out there and talk more about changes here in Halifax. A lot of you have been asking about our condo that we own in the city.
Like, why are we staying in a hotel right now when we own a condo just not that far from here? Well, actually, we made the decision a while ago to we rent out our place basically when we're traveling, but we made the decision to open it up all summer long and just see what happens. And well, people rented it, so
people have been renting it, so that's yeah, that's great. But we will at some point, hopefully. I don't know if it'll happen this time around, but get back in there and show you guys a place. A lot of you asked, so we just had to bring it up. But now we're going back outside.
We are just making our way up Citadel Hill, one of our favorite places in the whole city. You get a great view. I guess that's one of the big things about being in downtown Halifax, is that from hotels and from hills you get really amazing views of the harbor and the various buildings around. One thing that we love about Halifax, about living in Halifax, is the sense of community. I mean, it's not a huge city, and even as it grows, you really have this sense of community. It doesn't, you know, you live in a certain neighborhood and you start to recognize people, you start to meet people, and you go out and you really recognize people's faces even if you don't know who they are. So it has this like kind of town feel even though it's a city, and I think as it continues to grow with more and more people, it's still going to continue to feel that way.
It's funny because we've been at a few different coffee shops and restaurants since we've been back here, and people started to recognize us, and not because of the videos. I mean, there are some people that come up that watch us and say hello, but some people just said stuff like, did you used to live in the north end of Halifax, or did you used to go to so-and-so cafe? I used to be a server there. So yeah, that's what you can expect here in Halifax. Now, I don't think that's ever going to change. We can't really say if it's good or bad. Really, it's just a good thing.
But it's a definite good thing, and hopefully it never changes.
Well, this thing is definitely new around here.
This is new. I've never seen one of these before. It's like a little robot mower.
It's like a rumba.
Now everybody's going to want one of these.
Yeah, this is, what the heck? When did this happen, Halifax?
I just came over to say hi. Hi.
I'm gonna have to tell my father about this.
I know. I feel like everyone's going to be super into this.
What on earth? What a great idea. We've just come over to the public gardens, which is this absolutely beautiful green space.
Yeah, one of my favorite spots for sure,
right
in all of the city.
In the middle of the city,
Yeah.
as well. So we love coming here when we're home. During the pandemic, we were here quite often.
Like pretty much every day.
But there is another topic we want to bring up.
Yeah, I think it kind of goes hand in hand with like talking about the sense of community, but if you've ever been to the Maritimes or Halifax or any of this sort of region, you know there's kind of like an East Coast hospitality.
Yeah.
People here are just extra nice.
And we're not just saying that because we're from here. We realize that as we travel around the world, but once we get back, I mean, oh my God, the people here.
So nice, so welcoming, and that's a big plus. Hasn't changed, and hopefully, again, one of those things that will never ever change.
It is. It's not. It's one of those things that is not going to change. We're just going to give an update because it's very important. I mean, you will see tourists walking around the street here, like kind of lost with their phone, or they have a map in their hand, and just random people from the city will help them. They'll just stop and help them. We see that quite often.
All the time.
Every year we get back, we wonder if there's any baby ducks because you usually see them in the spring. We're a little late this year, but there are. I got some on camera over there. Baby ducks are here every single year. Right in this pond that's also in the middle of this park that's in the middle of this city.
I guess one topic we can't really avoid talking about if we're talking about changes or things to know about Halifax, and I know people will ask if we don't say it. So
Yeah.
Healthcare, basically, just it seems like you just keep getting worse. We're definitely in a healthcare
Yeah.
crisis. It doesn't look like it's getting much better anytime soon.
There's no change in a positive front, that's for sure. So if you're wondering what we mean, Canada has great healthcare if you can get the healthcare. We have great doctors, but it's just the lines and wait times to get in are, a little bit
Getting
unacceptable.
worse and worse. Yeah, he doesn't even know if he has a doctor at the moment because he's retired. I definitely have a doctor, but she's going to retire in the next few years, so I don't know what's going to happen then.
Yeah.
It's basically impossible to get one if you don't have one.
I'm even hearing, like, if you're just trying to get a call with your doctor, especially in the city, that it can take months to get a call and let alone get in to see him or her. So just know that if you're coming here, it's been an issue here in Halifax for sure, Nova Scotia, and really all of Canada.
Yeah, and
it
let's
seems.
hope in the next few years they can do something to really help fix it.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what could be done. I don't know what the answer is, but everyone that lives here knows that this is the situation, and people that are thinking about moving here,
You need to know that.
you need to know that. The last thing to talk about here is the weather, and of course that's subjective. Now, for us, we like warm weather, as you guys all know, and there are people that like cold weather. So if you're into like snowboarding or skiing, things like that, probably not. You're probably not gonna like it here, especially if you're coming from, like, let's say Alberta. Our winters, there can be snow, but sometimes it's just really slushy. But there's no question that every year it seems to be getting warmer all around. Like sometimes in Halifax, there's barely any snow in the winters. If it does snow, it can rain. It's pretty rare for it to stick. Like when I grew up here in Nova Scotia, I mean, there'd be snow like up to here at all times in the winter months. So just know that if you're coming here. I'll try to break down the seasons for you. So spring just happened, and everyone gets excited in spring because winter's over and we have spring. But what happens every time? It rains. It rains every single spring. It's rare to get like 2 days of nice weather in a row. It's honestly really frustrating. June was just nothing but rain here, and in Halifax in July, there's been a lot of rain. Sometimes it's not like that, but it's been consistent pretty much. So then let's talk about summer. Summer is kind of like shifted. It seems like it's shifted to July, August, and now even into September. Some would argue that September is the nicest month of all. The water is warmer, that's for sure, the ocean. So if you get some nice days, nice weather, it is perfect. Then we have fall. It's a lot of everybody's favorite season, right? Everyone loves fall, not just for the colors. If you go to the Cabot Trail and the Celtic colors is beautiful up there. It's beautiful all throughout Nova Scotia. Plus, if you're a fashion buff, you get to, dress your style. Everyone loves fall. Then we get back to winter. Winters in general, they're just kind of wet and they're just kind of annoying, and they're long. They're still long.
Well, we have one more topic to talk about. It's a really important one, very close to our hearts as well, but we have something really fun planned for this evening, so we're going to head back to the Prince George and get ready, and we'll see you in just a minute.
It's a little later now, and we've just come back to the Prince George, to the restaurant Geo, and we've ordered a cocktail. You can see them making it, and this is what I got. This is an old-fashioned. I haven't had an old-fashioned in such a long time, and this is the place I gotta do it. I'll try it really quick for you guys. We're gonna be ordering some amazing food as well. We can't wait for that, but cocktails. We haven't had cocktails in quite some time. Oh, I'm a bourbon guy. I've said this before. I like whiskey, I like bourbon, but an old-fashioned is my jam. I absolutely love an old-fashioned.
One thing that has not changed here in Halifax is that the food is amazing. Geo is basically an institution here at this point. It's been in this location for many, many years. It's considered one of the top restaurants here in Halifax. It's really a go-to place. We often, well, it's been a long time since we've been here, but we used to come here all the time for special occasions. I don't know if we mentioned that it's Trevor's birthday today, so it worked out well. Happy birthday to Trevor.
Happy birthday me. Well, you look like you're having a happier birthday for me with that. What's that?
This is a gin cocktail. I have to look up what it's called. It has a really good name. It's called Now That's a Good Idea. So gin cocktail, it's got lemon in there as well, which is right up my alley. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's delicious. If you like gin cocktails like I do, so good, really well balanced. You got that nice tartness from the lemon. That is so good.
We have 2 appetizers already. Look at this. This is some kind of a carrot dish. We will get into this soon and tell you more about it. What is this?
This is beef short rib. Oh my goodness. I wish you guys could smell this because it smells incredible. It also, you can tell, it looks absolutely beautiful. It almost looks too pretty to eat, but we're definitely gonna eat it. Those of you that watch us regularly might be surprised that I'm about to try the beef. You know, I don't eat a lot of beef in my life, but I've been trying to get into it, and every time I've tried it, it's been really, really, really good. So here we go. This is a bit of a test.
Let's break this beautiful looking dish apart.
Oh my goodness, it just falls right apart. Oh wow, look at that. So I think based on the description of this dish, there's going to be a lot of flavors going on. Obviously you have the beef, you also have a zucchini and basil puree. There's a lot of mustard flavors going on as well, so I think it's going to be quite delicious. Let's try it. If I ever had any fear of beef, like this is the place to start. That is incredible. It just melts in your mouth. There's no chewiness. It's super soft, super delicious. Oh, it's so good. And all the components that go with it, the sauce on top, it's got a slight mustard flavor, and then that little like basil and zucchini thing going on, and the little greens on top. I love this dish. I don't know if I'll share it.
I think it's fair to say that I have the prettier dish. Look at this. This is actually carrots. The whole dish is carrots, and there's flowers in there as well. Now, this is the interesting part about this. Remember, this is just the appetizer, but there are many different kinds of carrots on here. There is like a miso carrot, there's a pickled carrot, there's even a tempura carrot. I think this one right here, like the big guy, is a tempura carrot. I've never heard of that before. I didn't even know you could do that, and I've never in my life had a carrot dish like this. Take a look at that. I have some of the flour, I have some of that tempura carrot, I even have, I think, like a little bit of the pickled carrot. I'm just gonna have to try it all. I think every bite of this dish is gonna be different, but let's just see what the first one's like, right? This just might be the first time that I cannot accurately describe a dish. For the record, it's crazy good. I just don't know what to say. It tastes like I'm eating a garden of carrots with flowers. It's the prettiest dish I've ever had, but because of that miso and because of like the tempura, it's like a little bit Asian, it's a little bit Japanese, let's say, and it just works. I don't know how the chef came up with this, but this is incredible. Like, whoever thought carrots could end up having a presentation like this, let alone tasting this good.
Because we had 2 starters, we decided to pace ourselves a little bit and go for one main and a salad to go along with it. And this might sound a little bit indulgent, but we decided to get 2 smaller glasses of wine to kind of pair with our main meals. We got a red to go with, well, the main meal, which we'll talk about in a second, but then we also got a salad and a white wine. That's a New Zealand Sauvignon Blanc, always a big fan of that. And this salad, I think, is going to pair really, really well. I know salad might sound kind of boring, but in a place like this, it's going to be really well thought out and super delicious. I think it's got some, well, obviously some greens in there, some onions. There are some candied walnuts. I think there's some oranges and some beets, and nice and light, which I think is going to be nice to go along with that main dish, which I'm just kind of teasing you with because you're going to see it in a second. But let's try this. You know you are at a good restaurant with incredible chefs when the salad I mean, the salad is delicious. It's absolutely perfect. You get a little bit of saltiness from the feta, but it balances so incredibly well with that fruit on top. It's really, really perfect. Again, Sauvignon Blanc.
On to the main attraction though. Look at this
What do
hunk
we get?
of meat. Look at this hunk of meat. Because Anna is all into beef lately, we thought we'd try this beef dish. Now, I have a ribeye right here, and you can see all this like sauce and everything here. There's so much happening in this dish, you guys. I'm gonna try this first because there's also like oxtail on here as well, which is gonna be very different than what I'm about to taste. I might sound like a broken record here, but this is out of this world, and I can see why this is one of the top-rated restaurants in Halifax and Nova Scotia for that matter. It's exceptional, you guys. You know, we have been to Japan recently trying some incredible beef over there, but now that we're back in Canada and getting to try this in our own city, it's super exciting. Now I'm just curious what the other piece of beef is gonna taste like. Well, it's another day, and we are at the Montreal airport. Yes, we've flown over to Montreal from Halifax. More on that in just a moment.
Yeah, before we get to that and why we're here, let's wrap up Geo and the Prince George for a second. That meal was absolutely incredible. One of the best meals we've had in a seriously, seriously long time. If you're coming to Halifax, you're in Halifax, definitely a place you have to visit.
Yes.
I mean, the food in Halifax has just been getting better and better, but Geo's one that's always been amazing, continues to be amazing.
That is one thing that has not changed in Halifax. The food is top notch, but you have to go to Geo if you are coming to Halifax. We promise you'll love it.
Yeah, and of course we want to say a huge thank you to Geo and the Prince George for having us. We'll put links to both the restaurant and the hotel in the description below if you want to book them yourself.
So, what are we doing at the Montreal airport? Well, we are going to be flying to another country, a new country.
Yeah, a brand new country that we've never been to. We have big plans, so we're thinking maybe in the next video we're going to reveal where we're going, but also do a little wrap-up of the summer.
Yeah.
Some things didn't go as planned. We thought we'd do more videos, and you're probably surprised that we only did one video at Nova Scotia.
There's a bit of lots of ups and downs this summer. Yes, there's only one video from Nova Scotia this year. That's because a lot of things didn't go according to plan. We had plans to show you a whole bunch, but it's not happening. But we promise we are going somewhere extremely exciting. Well, very soon.
Yeah, we're just waiting to board in a couple of hours. But yeah, in the next video, I think we'll just kind of wrap up some stuff and then tell you all about what our upcoming plans are.
If you got this far in the video, guys, we appreciate each and every one of you for watching. I am Trevor, and this is Anna. We're the Delightful Travelers. Hit subscribe, click like, hit the share button. It all just helps us out. I hope you're getting excited that we're at the airport because big things coming.
Yeah,
we promise.
I'm excited. I can tell you, I'm super excited. All right, guys, that's it.
From Montreal, not Halifax, wishing you delightful travels.
See you soon.